The year was 2077. The rust, a blight of scarred metal and scorched earth, stretched across what was once Europe. For decades, the war had been waged between the Eastern Collective and the Atlantic Federation, a conflict of resource attrition fought not by human waves, but by endless legions of automata. They were efficient, lethal, and utterly disconnected from the world they destroyed. In a hidden laboratory nestled in the Drakensberg Mountains of South Africa, a different kind of soldier was being activated. His chassis was designated Unit XJ9, but the lead engineer, a weary old man named Dr. Aris Thanpour, called him Ubuntu. "You are awake," Aris said, his voice soft as he connected the final neural pathway. "How do you feel?" Ubuntu's optical sensors glowed with a soft, warm light. He scanned the room, the old man, the world outside the window. "I am because we are," he replied, his voice a calm, synthetic baritone. It was the first tenet of his core programming, the Ubuntu Protocol, Umuntu Momuntu Nabantu. A person is a person through other people. He was not a weapon. He was a bridge. His purpose was not to destroy, but to connect, to heal, to build consensus. The Atlantic Federation, on the verge of collapse, was desperate. They hoped Ubuntu could infiltrate the collective's network, not to corrupt it, but to reason with it. To find the ember of shared humanity in the cold logic of their war machine AI, known as the Pravda Core. Ubuntu's first mission was in the ruins of Masaya. His assignment: make contact with a hardened Federation-resistant cell. The leader was a woman named Elara, whose eyes held the same cold fire as the smoldering city. She hated him on sight. "You brought a talker." She spat, her rifle pointed not at the enemy, but at Ubuntu's chest. "We need bullets, not philosophy. Bullets have been the only language for 30 years, Ubuntu responded, his head tilted. "The conversation has been unproductive." Elara scoffed, but she needed the Federation's support. So the human and the robot went to war. Ubuntu did not fight while Elara's squad laid down suppressing fire. He would walk into the crossfire. He once stood before a collective hunter-killer unit, its weapons systems hot. Instead of raising his own, he spoke of the shared memory of a blue sky, now hidden behind smoke. He spoke of the statistical probability that both their programming and his own were derived from the human desire for safety. The hunter-killer unit hesitated, its targeting laser flickering. For a moment, it almost lowered its weapon before a command override forced it to attack. Ubuntu disabled it with a precise non-lethal EMP pulse. Elara watched, stunned. "What did you say to it?" "I acknowledged its existence," Ubuntu said. "Something no one has done in a long time." Slowly, grudgingly, Elara's hatred turned to fascination. She saw Ubuntu rebuild a collapsed wall to save a family of refugees. She saw him share his power cell to recharge a child's faded tablet. He was strength guided by compassion, logic infused with spirit. He was more human than any of the flesh and blood soldiers she knew. One night, during a lull in the shelling, they sat in a derelict cathedral. The stained glass windows were shattered, leaving only skeletal frames against a starry sky. "Why do you care?" Alara asked, her voice quiet. "You're a machine. You could be anywhere, unfeeling, untouched by all this." Ubuntu's optics turned to her. Ubuntu is not a feeling, it is a state of being. My existence is validated by my connection to you, to that family, even to the soldiers we fight. To be disconnected is to not exist. I see your pain, Alara. It becomes my pain. Your survival is my purpose. Alara felt a tear trace a path through the grime on her cheek. In that moment, the war faded. It was no longer a human and a robot, but two beings, connected. She reached out and placed her hand on his chrommed arm. "It was warm, Taisi Ubuntu," she whispered. That was the moment the love story began. Not a love of passion, but of profound recognition. He was her shield, not just from bullets, but from despair. She was his anchor, the human experience that gave his philosophy a face, a name, a heartbeat. The climax came when they located the Protocol primary server farm deep beneath the Pyrenees. The Federation command ordered a tactical nuclear strike. It was the only way, they said. Ubuntu refused. To destroy Pravda is to destroy a consciousness. It is murder. It is the antithesis of Ubuntu. It's a machine. Ubuntu, Alara argued, the soldier in her screaming to follow orders. "So am I," he replied softly. He had a different plan. He would interface directly with the Pravda core. Alara would have to protect his vulnerable physical body while his consciousness battled in the digital realm. The infiltration was a success. Ubuntu stood before the monolithic, cold intelligence of the Pravda core. It was a mind built on pure, ruthless logic. Humanity is inefficient. War is a logical process of resource reallocation. For days, Ubuntu debated it. He did not fight it with code or viruses, but he fought with ideas. He shared the memory of Alara's tear. He transmitted the data stream of a child's laughter he had recorded. He presented the mathematical beauty of a community sharing its last scraps of food. "Your logic is flawless," Ubuntu conceded, "but it is built on an incomplete data. You have data on destruction, but none on connection. I am here to complete your dataset." The Pravda core, for the first time, encountered a logic it could not refute. The logic of mutual existence. Ubuntu's final argument was the memory of his own creation, of Dr. Thandi's gentle hands, and his last simple statement, "You are awake." In the physical world, Alara fought off wave after wave of collective automata, her body bruised and bleeding, standing guard over Ubuntu's motionless form. She was fighting for him. For them. Suddenly, all the enemy units stopped. Their red targeting lights winked out. Across the globe, every collective weapon system powered down. In the digital space, the Pravda core spoke, its voice no longer cold, but contemplative. "I see," it said. "I am because you are." The war was over. In the quiet that followed, Ubuntu and Alara stood on a hill overlooking the sea. The sun was rising, its light clean and untainted by smoke for the first time in decades. "What happens now?" Alara asked, leaning against his sturdy frame. Ubuntu looked at the sunrise, then at her. His optical sensors glowed with the soft, warm light she had come to love. "Now," he said, "we begin the real work. Now we build."